Oh, happy day to you. I'm Jyn Yates. You're locked on to LRS102.com, Jyneration Nation. I'm pumped today. I got a whole band up in the studio. I'm very excited to feature not only Ray Rizzo, who's a hometown favorite, but his band Frog Belly. What a great name. So I'm gonna let y'all just kick it in with some music. Go. They're gonna do a first ever live performance here at LRS. Go for it.
Mais les vieilles benches sont, maybe you've gone on much left right away. Fishing for a day, down there by the lake. Says about the world, it's growing on his back. Mais les vieilles benches sont, maybe you've gone. Fishing for a day,
we've come to let you go.
Well, she can't be, say no, a wicked tycoon. She come to see your way, but she came by to see I may not go. C'est pas vrai, she won't wait, I may not go.
Go.
Think of what you keep at you.
May not go.
He thinks about the world that's growing on his back. Fishing for a day.
We've come
Maybe I maybe you've gone on my to let run away. Oh, she can't be, say no, I may not
go.
Sure can do we being all.
May not go. May not go.
Let it back benches on. Maybe you've gone on my to let run away.
Get over.
Fishing for a day.
We've come
She can't be,
to let you go.
About the world, you know. We've come to make it over. We've come to let you go. But if you can, she's on. Maybe you're gone on your board. C'est pas vrai, she won't wait. I say don't go. But you came by to see I may not go.
May not go.
We've about the world that's growing on his back.
Get over.
Fishing for a day.
We've come
Maybe I
to let you go.
my to let run away. C'est pas vrai ici, I may
Not
not
go.
Sure can do we being all.
May not go. May not go.
But if it then she's on, maybe you're gone on my to let run away.
Get over. We've come to let you go.
Very nice. That's not at all what I was expecting.
What were yeah? We
But
hear that a lot.
awesome, man. Beautiful harmonies. I love everything about it. I was just looking at your CDs here. By the way, that was Frog Belly live on LRS. So y'all are gonna play throughout the show for us.
We'd
I
like
hope.
to, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. Let's talk to everybody real quick because I have a whole list of people here in the studio. So Ray Rizzo, you're on drums and vocals. Well, and today on tambourine.
Right.
I love the tambourine.
Anything to hit on is
Yeah, exactly.
Qualified.
And Liz Hanley?
Yeah.
Liz Hanley, singer, fiddle, keys, great vocals.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your music career. How did you get your start in music?
Well, my dad plays fiddle as well, so
Cool.
he handed me an instrument as a little kid, and I also learned classical growing up, but went to music college for violin, and also then started playing in rock bands
Yeah.
when I was in college, and I also play Irish traditional music because my family is Irish. So.
I can hear a little bit of that influence in your vocal.
Cool.
Where did you start singing? Like, when did you get your vocal chops?
I guess, really not till kind of later. I was, an instrumentalist for a long time. But I always sang in, like in school and in like church and stuff. So, but I just started taking classical lessons for voice when I was in college, and that's kind of when I realized I really liked it.
Yeah, you're really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love it. I love your vocal, your what is it called, timbre,
Thanks.
or your range. Okay, and then we've got Tommy Laboda. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the French speaking.
Lebioda.
Lebioda.
It's actually a name of Polish origin.
Okay, Polish origin. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to get that right, probably, with my country
No
slang.
worries at all. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you're generally on bass, but you're on guitar today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you get your start?
Ooh, I was a late starter. I only picked up my first instrument when I was around about 17 years of
Okay.
age, or 18, and I was like, I was very much went down the self-taught route. Played in bands because I found it was cool.
Yeah.
There was not much of an academic sort of background. My family, there weren't any musicians in my family. I was just like, a bit of a protest, as it happens when you're 17, you
Yeah.
want to get out of the sort of, you want
Sounds
to
very
protest, you
punk
want
rock,
to
punk rock.
rebel. Yeah, and I actually started playing in punk bands before I discovered my passion for like songwriting per se. I was just hammering, on two strings, on the two strings of my bass guitar that I could actually manage.
Yeah, I hear
And
you.
that's how I started out, and it became a passion. And I did end up going to music school as well, but that was much later. By that point, I was already 26 years old, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, you give us. I always like people in here that started late, because a lot of people think that they can't play music if they're in their 20s or 30s, and I'm like, no, you can. You still got plenty of time. Pick up an instrument.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it kind of sticks with you though, because I always felt a little bit jealous of all the people who had their piano lessons when they were children, and they
Right.
could express themselves properly on musical terms, which I never really learned.
Yeah.
But then you find workarounds.
I agree. Well, you all sound great together. I love the harmonies and everything. I love all the guitar
Thank you.
playing. Okay, and then we also have Ben Trott. Yes, on guitar. And tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get your start?
So, I'll move a little closer. Originally I played keyboards when I was very young, a little bit. And then my brother got an electric guitar for Christmas, which he never played. So eventually I kind of picked up and started messing around on it. My dad was a traditional musician. He played the flute, played a lot of Irish, English folk type stuff.
Yeah.
But I just play kind of rock music, and it wasn't until much later I came back to the whole folk thing.
Yeah.
Realized that actually it was cool.
Yeah, it is way cool. Yeah.
So that's
All the great singer-songwriters tend to be in folk music, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
The Joni Mitchells, and I mean, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young. I consider them too. Bob Dylan, another great one. Yeah, very cool. How did you all form this band? And are you all? You're not from Louisville, obviously.
Nope.
Where's everyone from?
I'm originally from Boston.
Okay.
But I moved to New York for college, and as I said, started playing in rock bands. And one of those bands I was on tour with in Germany, and I met Thomas, who's from Hamburg, and he and I fell in love.
Oh, so y'all are partners?
Yeah.
These two? Oh, I love it. Cute.
And then we started a band, and I don't know.
Started a band together.
The-
Now you're traveling the world together. Welcome to Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, super rad. And what about you? Where are you from?
I'm from England,
Okay,
so Bristol.
Bristol.
But yeah, I moved around a lot in England. I was living in Sheffield when I met these guys, first of all.
So you two were together, and then you come into the picture.
Exactly.
All right, and then how did you guys end up with Ray?
Well, Liz and I met in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Thomas was like, "Oh, who's your favorite drummer in the whole world?" And I said, Ray Rizzo.
Ray Rizzo, duh. Right. Yay, we love Ray. I kind of agree with that statement. He's been one of my, I'm a professional female drummer myself, but Ray has been one of my favorite drummers since I got to town.
He's blushing here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's so humble. Yeah. Well, super cool. So you meet them in New York City, and then you all just start jamming together?
Well, we met. They already had the express intention of recording music and specifically recording it with this producer Martin Beasy, who is responsible for Sonic Youth and recordings. Like, it has an incredible legacy. So we met, to do the recording sessions, and from there, that's where
the friendship, the spark
started,
happened, the magic started happening. Yeah, and you brought me in not only this amazing vinyl, and by the way, Kermit the Frog is on the back. I was looking at all the random stuff on the background. First off, where is this supposed to be?
Well, the
It's
whole
the
lake.
coast.
Well, there's a song on this album called Shingle, and
Okay.
Shingle was written. There's a water reservoir near Sheffield.
Yes.
Sheffield, England. This is where we, part of this band has, originally.
It's home.
Yeah, we're kind of, it's our second home. We're sort of between Brooklyn and Sheffield, UK, and that water reservoir up in the peaks, in the Peak District near Sheffield, is sort of. They made it in the 40s and 50s. They built like a massive dam and flooded an entire valley, and there was like a village
Wow.
in where in the valley, and now it's obviously flooded.
Yeah.
And the story is there was the spire of the village church was still sticking out of the water reservoir when they first filled it.
Yeah.
And obviously it attracted a lot of divers. Exactly.
That's the spire.
Exactly, that's it.
I can see it.
So there's actually one song on the record called Shingle that tells the story of this album cover. We could play it for you.
Yeah, let's hear it. I'm curious. This album is awesome. I can't wait to listen to this vinyl.
Yeah, it's the cover is a piece of artwork by is he from Hamburg, Philip?
Yeah.
Yeah, Philip Caspar Frederick.
It almost looks like the sky is crying, into
crying
the lake.
swamp,
It
yeah.
is into the swamp, and it's so polluted. You got the one little spire there, and this is called Frog Belly and the Symphony, right? Frog Belly and Symphony.
Yeah.
Blue Bright.
Our Sleep, that's
Our
the name of
Sleep.
the record, yeah. And
I love
the
that.
name of this particular song is Shingle.
All right, let's hear it. It's Frog Belly with Shingle.
Sea anemones all stick to rocks, and the seals are watching you from their slick rocks. And waves get blown over by western gusts, and fish are swarming all around the rust. Of a sunken ship sat on the seafloor, watched the captain walking out the door, and all he says is, in the end, all you find is the shingle on the beach. In the end, all you find is the shingle on the beach. Oh, village people with a fiendish mind eat their cabbages right on time. Whoa, stealing vegetables is such a crime, and they do their penance and now they do their time. And then the electrics came, they built a dam and flooded the valley, but its church still stands. I threw a stone into a cursed lake, and the stone sank to the floor, the priest to take. And now fish are swarming all around the stone, and the priest walks out the door, he stands alone, and all he says is, in the end, all you see is the spire of the church. In the end, all you see is the spire
It's amazing. That's Frog Belly live on LRS with Spire. I love that one. And that is the title track off your record, right?
No, the title track of the record is Blue Bright Owl
Okay.
Sleep.
Sorry about that.
And the
I don't
title
have
of
a
the
track
song is
listing.
actually Shingle.
Shingle, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and that's the story of the actual record and the making of that.
Yeah, it's all a little bit, imaginative and confusing.
Yeah.
It's part.
I kinda dig it.
It's part of our how
That's our
all
modus operandi.
Yeah, I
So
kinda
we're
dig
trying
that.
to form one brain out of 4 very peculiar personalities and
Yeah.
brains, and it turns into this beautifully confusing thing.
It is. I'm kind of curious. I'm like, ooh, all you see is the spire of the church. The whole story is kind of mysterious too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also a bit of reality in there.
Yeah. How long have y'all been together as a group?
8 years.
8 years, yeah.
8 years? Yeah, I love the harmonies, by the way. Yeah, and all the playing and all that. Of course, Ray never does a bad project, ever. Last time he was in here, I had posted a picture of me and Ray, and then my friend from New York City was like, "Oh, I'm in a band with Ray," who I didn't know they knew each other. Shannon Conley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Shannon Conley. She's the lead singer of Les Zeppelin,
Yeah,
the all-female
was.
cover band, or was, and then she went on tour with Hedwig and the Angry
Yeah.
Itch.
Yeah.
On tour across the United States, and I was like, "Of course you're in a band with Ray Rizzo." Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Oh.
we do music of it's all the women of the British invasion. So it's like Cilla Black and Dusty Springfield. It's like
Yeah.
the way Shannon sings that music is like
Yeah,
so
she's
incredible.
good. Yeah, I got turned on to her by the girls in Betty. You know, the chicks in
don't know
Betty.
them.
Oh man, they have the hit song or the theme to the L Word, and I met them playing in Michigan at Michigan Women's Music Festival, and we've just stayed friends. But they're based in New York City, so they were friends with her, and they said you should interview her. She's going to be really really good, right? Yeah. Sorry, we got random people walking through. It's so loud in that room. Yeah. We broadcast live out of the Launch Louisville studios downtown, and sometimes we get people in and out, and they're having parties, and
Yeah,
it's
maybe
loud.
we'll do the next song from out in the lobby.
Yeah, you should. I love that. Oh, it would sound great in there. The acoustics are fantastic in that room. Seriously. Well, I love that you all get to be the first live studio performance at LRS. Yeah.
We love it too.
Yeah. I love it too. What else you got? I'm like, give me something else. I want stuff all night.
Well,
Or all
basically,
day.
I mean, we could play something that is also on the new album because
Yeah.
Well, what you've got in your hands, the Blue Bright Owl
This
Sleep, is the most recent release.
Okay.
But it came out in 2015, and we're now working on this new record, this new full-length
Okay,
album.
which I do not have.
Which
What's
is not
this
yet-
other one?
Right.
Well, the album that's in the making right now will hopefully come out throughout this year, but obviously we can't,
Right. Yeah.
Wait. played yet.
We'll be playing a lot of the songs tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. And let's tell everybody about the show tomorrow. It's at Odeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what time is the show?
The show starts at 8. We're playing. Giant Dunes are playing at 8. That's Joe Manning's band.
Okay.
And then we're on, and then Rhodey,
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Rodehofer's band with Meg Samples.
Oh, yeah. What's the
and
name of that band?
It's called Rhodey.
Oh, it is? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah, I love
she
Rhodey.
and do you know Jordan?
Yes.
They double drum.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't
super
seen them
rad.
yet. It's
And I
gonna be-
love Meg Samples too.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't she in Squeezebot?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, how many people can we fit into the LRS studios today? That is the question. And we're posing for pictures.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Selfies.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So, yes. So, what is this other record that you gave me here? The Ecstasy of Saint Cecilia?
That's lit. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
tell me a
that's
little
my-
bit this
That's
about
an
this.
album that I made. It's traditional Irish music, songs, and some tunes. And there's actually 2 songs on there that we do as a band.
we could do one of them.
We could do one of them.
Sure. Y'all can do anything
wanna
you want.
do-
You've got free reign today.
Johnston.
Johnston?
Johnston?
Yeah.
let's do it.
Or By
By the way, I love the artwork on this record. It's very fairies and naked women and moonlight and earthy
Liz's
stuff.
vibe.
Did you hear what I said? I said I love the artwork on this record. I said it's very fairies and naked women-y and moonlight and earthy.
Yeah, my friend Lulu Eckert painted that. It's actually a massive, like 6 foot by 4 foot painting.
Ooh, it's gorgeous.
That was condensed into that little.
The Ecstasy of Saint
CD.
Cecilia. Where'd the name come from?
I actually took it from a Raphael painting.
Okay.
Raphael has a painting
That's
called
okay.
The
We always
Ecstasy.
we borrow.
Yeah, and it's of Saint Cecilia, who is the patron saint of music.
Oh yes, I have her little. I have a little Saint Cecilia thing that sits on my little recording dock at home on my where my recording studio is with my speakers where I mix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
for good
in
luck.
this painting, she's got all these instruments around her, and she's kind of looking to the heavens and like leaving her earthly possessions behind.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Fun.
All right, give it to us.
This song is a murder ballad.
Awesome. Goth country. Let's do it.
Totally.
Johnston, he was riding along as fast as he could ride, till he thought he heard a woman. He heard a woman cry. Johnston getting off his horse, searching the woods all around. He came upon a woman with her hair pinned to the ground. Johnston, being a man of his own, being a man and bold, he's taken off his overcoat to cover her from the cold. Oh, woman, dearest woman, who then brought you here for to stand? Who then brought you here this gay morning with your hair pinned to the ground? Oh, it was 3 bold and struggling men with swords keen in hand, who then brought me here this gay morning with my hair pinned to the ground. Johnston, he got on his horse, the woman, she got on behind. They rode down that lonesome highway, their fortune for to find. And as they were riding off along as fast as they could ride, she had flown her fingers to her lips. She gave 3 shivering cries. Out sprang 3 bold and struggling men with swords keen in hand, and they commanded Johnston, they commanded him to stand. Oh, I will stand, said Johnston, I'll stand there and city, for I never was in all of my life afraid of any 3. Johnston, he killed 2 of them, not minding the woman behind. When he was at the other one, she stabbed him from behind. And the day was free in the marketplace, the people all passing by could have seen this awful murder, could have seen poor Johnston die. La
Man, I love that. Wow, I can totally hear the influence behind all the Celtic and the, ooh, and I love a murder ballad. I do. Like I said, goth country. I feel like Johnny Cash is one of the originals. Tell me the influence behind that song.
That song, I first, it's a song that the Sweeney's Men did. They were an Irish group in the 60s.
Okay.
And but it's based, it was written, though it says it's traditional on their album, it's probably was written by Johnny Moynihan, who was in that band. But it's kind of, there's a few different older traditional versions of that song, kind of knocking around the tradition. So.
Yeah, I've never heard that one, but I love it.
The Three Butchers is another version of that song that's done. And
yeah, but Elon loves some like murder ballads.
yeah.
They really do. I personally do too. I'm a big fan of anybody who gets killed off in a song. I mean, that's the beauty. We talked about this, I think, the last time Ray was on the show. It's the beauty of art. Like, if I get frustrated, I can just go write about you and kill you off in a song.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because I can't get in trouble doing it. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of, putting your emotions into song, into art. Yeah, super rad. Tell me, I mean, everybody knows you're going to be at the Odeon tomorrow night, 8 p.m. You've got an opener. One more time on the name of the opener.
Giant Dunes.
Giant Dunes, cool. Yeah, and that's Rhodey's band with the double drumming thing.
And then also Rhodey's band. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
bands
3 different
tomorrow.
bands.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the third one? What's
Giant Dunes.
Giant Dunes
is the
and then
opener,
Rhodey.
and then us, and then Rhodey will play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And
Show's down at
how
11.
much are tickets to get in?
I can't remember. I think 10.
I'll look that up. $10
Yeah.
at the door. I love the Odeon. It's a great little date spot. If you haven't taken a date there, it's very groovy. You've been inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've played there a
It's
few
straight up
times.
from the 70s. Shag carpet, the vintage
Yes.
furniture. It's kind of a dark setting. It's very romantic there. Yeah.
A lot of Butchertown history.
Yeah, a lot of Butchertown history, and you also have the room that you all are playing in. It's a magically acoustic room.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to invite everybody out. These guys are awesome. Do you play any drum set with this, or is it all percussion?
Oh yeah. Well, we couldn't fit a drum set in here today.
We
so-
could try. You know me. I'm like, let's bring a drum set up in
Yeah.
here. Why not?
Yeah, no, it's a full kit. It's a special drum set. We got to vibe out about it at some point. 'Cause
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
tell me a little bit about it.
Well, everything fits in 2 16-inch tom cases.
Oh.
And then the stands are in a tent. Like, it's super small, like
In a
super
tent.
good for the
Yeah.
back and
Okay.
traveling around.
Yeah, I have my big kit, my Black Panther kit. I've got a bunch of different kits, but I only kept 2 here in Louisville, and that was the Black Panther, which is the big kit. But I also got one of those Questlove pocket kits
Oh yeah,
for the exact same reason.
yeah,
for the
similar.
back.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, drums are one of the most physical instruments, so it's a lot when you're, starting to be in your 40s and you're dragging around 300-400 pounds of equipment all the time. And my stand bag alone is like 350 pounds.
Right.
We call
Yeah.
it. Oh, is this internet radio? It's not terrestrial.
Well, we're streaming live right now.
How about
Yeah.
explicit language?
Oh, go for it, man! All
Well,
day.
we call that particular bag the fuck sack.
Yeah, the fuck sack. I love that. So
You know why that's good?
Yeah. So we have a swear jar here. So anytime
you
anybody swears, we donate money to charity to help fight homelessness in the
Oh,
city.
That's
we're gonna have a marathon today.
And this is
Shit,
my
yeah.
cousin. Fuck yeah. Yeah, no, I love cuss words. I'm a big fan. Look, he's already thrown in a couple bucks.
go.
Thank you for your donation, sir. All right, I love it. So yeah, let's take a short break if that's cool.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we will talk a little bit more to Frog Belly and everybody involved. I got the whole list of names here because I can't keep them straight yet. Ray Rizzo on drums. We've got Liz on fiddle, singing, keys, right? Normally, Tommy, you're on bass, guitar, and vocals, and Ben on guitar, and you also do a little vocal too.
Hello.
Yeah, I love how everybody sings in this band. What's your favorite style of rock and roll? Ooh, because y'all all came from rock and roll backgrounds.
Psychedelic.
Psychedelic. Ooh, so like what? I mean, gosh, you could go anywhere with psychedelic, pretty much.
Johann Sebastian Bach. That's
Yeah,
sort
he's
of
pretty
my favorite
rocking.
psychedelic.
Which one is it?
Rock star.
Bach.
Bach.
I don't know who that is.
Johann. Oh, you.
Johann Bach.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, I
dun,
love it.
dun,
Ha
dun.
ha ha! You're funny. I was looking to see what I have queued up here. How about some local dudes? Have you ever heard of the band Killy Killies?
No.
No.
No, I mean I've seen them on the socials.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna throw on
Sweet.
some Killy Killies. They're a local band here, and they also have a cool show coming up sometime over the weekend. So we'll throw some of them on. It's Killy Killies. That's King Kong with Tornado. You're locked on to LRS102.com, Louisville's rock stream. Yay! I'm so excited today. I have the cats from Frog Belly up in the studio. How are y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah, they've been playing live music for us all day. It's my first in-studio live music show. So thank you all for that. You'll have to autograph something at the end for me or something so we can leave it up in the studio. And you brought me super rad vinyl, which I love, and a couple CDs over here. One being Liz's. Is that your solo stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Liz's solo record, as well as the Frog Belly and Symphony Blue Bright Owl Sleep. It's a tongue twister.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try singing it.
I bet. Yeah, no, thanks. That's why I play drums. Yeah, so Ray had called and said, "Hey, I want to bring my my band up in here from Frog Belly because you know you guys have this awesome show coming up this Saturday. Or no, is this Saturday?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
Wednesday.
say Saturday. Tomorrow. I'm like, what day is it? I don't even know. It's Tuesday. Hey, yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday night at the Odeon on Story Ave there, and yeah, Groovy Space going on at 8 p.m. Yeah. So you want to get tickets to that. So did you all just fly in or how did you get to Louisville, Kentucky? Because none of y'all are from here.
Yeah, so yeah, we flew over
Okay.
to New York where we were rehearsing for a few days before this little tour, this little mini tour we're doing. So yeah, and we just drove
Yeah.
from State College,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania yesterday, which
Cool.
was a little bit of a trek.
Oh, yeah?
9 hours
8
on
hour,
the road.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've driven that ride a few times. I know exactly. Yeah, that back and forth thing. Yeah.
You have such long distances in this country.
I know
between
we do,
towns.
don't we? I know we really do. Yeah,
Like,
you could drive forever, especially when you hit the Midwest
Yeah.
or somewhere like Montana.
Yeah.
You'll be driving. I mean, I would wake up because I would tour out there, and I'd wake up, and the GPS would be saying, you know, you're going correctly, and I'm like, but we're on a gravel road, and there's nothing anywhere. Are you sure that we're on the right road? And they'd be like, yeah, you know, and yeah. So yes, we have a lot of. There's in the Midwest. There's not a whole lot. It's like corn, and then it's like little town. Yeah, corn. And even their rest stops are really strange out there
Yeah.
too. Yeah. It'll be like a hole in the ground and you'll be like, is this a rest stop? Where's the soda machine? You know, it's just like 4 walls around a hole, you know, that kind of thing. No running water, no nothing. Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for coming in. So the mini tour that you're on right now, where are you going next after Louisville, Kentucky?
Philly.
2 nights in Philadelphia.
Okay. Love that. We're at in Philly.
Jamie's House of Music and the
Okay.
Wet Whistle.
Ooh, that sounds fun. The wet whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about after that? Anywhere after that?
We're playing Boston on
Cool.
Sunday. Do you know Scott Moore? He's a
The name sounds
violin
very
player,
familiar.
from
Yeah.
here. He, yeah. Well, anyway, he's just moved to Boston from Louisville.
Okay.
He's going to be on the bill with us. Which
Cool. Love that. I love it. It always comes back to Louisville, Kentucky, man.
Is, yeah.
There's so many great connections here. Yeah. Is this your first time in Louisville, you three?
No.
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 Okay, cool. So you've been here before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We've played a few shows,
Okay.
and Tom and Liz came through and did a duo show like 2 years ago. a year
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Where was that at? I missed that.
Kaiju.
Oh, Kaiju. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we love Kaiju.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to live right beside of it for many years. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, very
The
cool.
food truck was very good. I remember that.
Oh yeah, it's still there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
it
great.
sure is. In fact, I was at their sister place last night eating supper, Dragon King's Daughter. It's one of my favorite sushi
Oh,
places.
yeah.
Yeah, the guys who own Kaiju own DKD.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I was hoping that food truck was going to be a DKD food truck. Either way, their food is immaculate. It's fantastic. Yeah, and I love every part of it. So, cool. Well, is this your first stop on the tour then, or have you already been playing along the way?
Second. Oh, third.
Yeah, third. We
stop.
started in Brooklyn. Actually,
Okay.
we did a show last Saturday that was also a collaboration with our friend Yuha, who was here with us, and we did it in Martin Beasley's studio in Brooklyn, which is great.
Yeah, we did
I'm like-
a recorded and filmed show as the first show of the tour,
Yeah.
which was
Stressful.
a little bit stressful, but also
Awesome.
quite
And
awesome and exciting. And yeah, we kicked off the tour with this like one big project right at the start of it, and now we're almost relaxing into the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
But
And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, one thing I just wanted to add is like how much we love coming back to Louisville.
Yeah.
Like Louisville has always been very, very great for us.
Yeah.
You know, we've had. Well, I'm feeling especially proud that Ray has introduced us to all these like amazing people who are also a lot. There's so much music coming out of the city. And it sort of in a way resembles Sheffield a little bit. We spoke about it on the van earlier, which also has this sort of like salt to the earth, sort of really grounded, nonchalant music scene that isn't too much up their own. Ring the bell, arses.
Yeah. Right. More money for charity.
A-bomb.
Yeah, I love that. But yes, you're right. I say it often. Louisville has such a cool, like groovy people here. I'm not from here, so I've stayed around for 21 years now, just because of the people and the music here. There's such a diverse music scene going on, and any night of the week you can literally go find just about anything you want. Whether if you're metal, if you're a metalhead, you go up to Barstown Road in the tap room. If you want blues, you go down to Stevie Ray's. Jazz, you could probably find a Jimmy Can't Dance or somewhere around town.
Yeah.
Decca, yeah, exactly. You can also, we have a great cover band scene here as well as a great folk scene. A lot of open mics around town. You literally can find almost any style of music at any given time. And somebody also educated me the other day that Louisville is the birthplace of jug bands, not only jug bands, but ragtime music. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Now,
I knew
I've
the jug
done the
band.
research on it, but I think it was like Todd Hildreth or somebody. It was somebody who would know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I was like, really? I didn't know that. So,
Wow.
You want
we
a
need to
ragtime?
do our,
We've got a
yeah.
rag.
Ooh, yeah. Will you give us some ragtime? Yeah, I love that. Y'all,
This is the
look,
big ankle
They got
rag.
real excited when I said ragtime. So yeah, give me some. Wow, that was awesome. I could sit and jam to that all day. You couldn't see us in the studio, but everybody's like smiling and dancing and having a good old time. There's nothing like some good old ragtime to bring everybody together. What is that called when you go wee all the way down the strings?
Ooh, I guess it's a glissando.
Oh yeah, like a gliss. I know, it sounds so haunting on a violin or fiddle. You're playing a fiddle, right?
Yeah.
Educate us on the difference.
Well, you wouldn't probably spill any beer on a violin.
Well, that's good.
And you probably shouldn't
not.
spill any beer on a fiddle either, but beer and fiddles come in contact more often.
I could see that. That's amazing. Great answer. I'm giving you a bell just because I like the answer.
Does that mean we have to pay?
No, you don't have to pay. I'll pay this time. No, that's fantastic. I love that you all are so studied too. I can totally tell. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to tell our listeners about Frog Belly that they aren't educated about?
Well, we have music online.
Okay. Where can they go find your music?
Is
On Bandcamp,
Everywhere.
yeah,
everywhere. Really.
Bandcamp, Spotify,
Okay.
FrogbellyandSymphony.com is our website. We're working on our Instagramming this week while we're out.
Yeah, the young ones love the Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In fact, by the way, I don't know if you heard this story. You will appreciate it because it involves a kid from Louisville, but a 19-year-old girl was on Instagram who's a hip-hop artist here, and Timberland found her. Missy Elliott's Timberland.
Yeah.
That produces all her beats. And he said, I want to work with you. And now he's doing a record with the chick from Louisville because of Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the power of social media right there. Yeah, it is fascinating. I try to be on all of them because, Facebook, if you look at the statistics, Facebook is generally for an older crowd. Then you've got the younger crowd. Twitter is for a complete different statistic group, too. Instagram, mostly the young kids. And then the young ones love the Snapchat thing.
Yeah.
So they're all for different reasons. But YouTube is obviously the one you're probably going to, it's the most discovered. More people discover people and artists on YouTube than any other site. So I try to stay up with the statistics of social media just to see why you would use this one versus that one.
Yeah,
'Cause
thanks for the update.
No, I mean, most artists aren't, keen on trying to keep up the social media, but I feel like it's so important today because my entire business is nothing but social media. So I've gotten students, I teach music. So I've gotten students off of every platform at some point for different reasons. So I feel like the more you get your stuff out there, it's like free promotion, for any band. And nowadays I feel like bookers, if you don't know them personally, they're like, well, let's see your social media presence. Right. They want to see your videos online. They want to hear your music online. They want to see how many followers you have. Yeah. And same thing with the record labels. I feel like even record labels. Yeah, right. We're all like, we don't care about record labels at the same time, but nowadays, right? But nowadays they're paying a lot of attention to that. They want to see that you already have, a strong foundation before they even bring you or consider you. For a label stuff. Yeah.
Well, we're our music that's come out thus far has been on Tommy's label.
Cool.
How long have his label shipped?
I started the label in 2008.
Okay.
And it's like very much a one-man show. Like I occasionally hire somebody to help me out with some stuff because I'm on the road or something. But it's sort of attached to my production business. I have a recording studio and I produce bands as well.
Cool, love that.
And the sort of the label was just a sort of an appendix, like a logical result of oh shit, we've made all this music. Has to come out somewhere.
Exactly.
And a home.
Yeah, she rang my bell for me. Thank you for that, Liz.
So
go for it. Here, it's your bell now.
And just because I've had it up and running already, including the distribution channels and everything. We just decided to put the first couple of records out. Or 3. Yeah, we made 2 records and 1 EP that we put out through label Ship, which is my label. And with this forthcoming record that we're now working on, we're kind of, at the moment, all doors are open. Like we're not sure what we're going to do. We're really, we're feeling really, really blessed and privileged to be able to, come across the pond again, do another tour. As you can probably imagine, maintaining an international band completely independently has been a massive challenge.
Right.
I bet.
And this is the one thing that maybe I would like to point out if you ask us,
sure.
What are we going to tell this sort of like intercultural relationship that we are fostering and establishing ourselves has, for me at least over the years, been the most exciting aspect about this band, really, because we all come from different corners of the world and different music traditions, different attitudes towards life, and anything, you know, and we just get together in the van and it's always this sort of explosion of energy. You know?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I was going to ask you about how you write together. Do you write separate? Do you write together? How do you prefer to write music? Originals, I mean.
Well, Tommy's the writes a lot of the songs, or start, you know, and Ray writes some as well.
Yeah, it's been quite a homogenous process. Like, and this band is a really good example. Like, we're just carrying together what everyone likes to do best and what they can do best. Like, I very often, because I am a passionate songwriter, so I write songs.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that this song is finished when I bring it to the band.
Right.
Very often I come, you know, with like a few ideas or, you know, a lyrical sort of, not even a verse or like a lyric yet, but just an idea what this song should be about.
Right.
And a few chords and a rhythm. And then, you know, there's maybe some traditional tune that fits the music or a certain drum groove that is, you know, everybody who knows Ray knows how unique a drummer he is. And
I know, yeah.
And he really comes up with something that is memorable and almost, you know, I understand rock and pop music that way. So it's like the songwriting is also the drum beat.
Right.
Like, even if you really break it down, to me, like even a snare sound can be like a song.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Speaking
I know
our
exactly.
language.
Yeah, you're totally speaking our language.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
I get it. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I always love to ask artists how they write their songs because everybody's so different.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you, it might be a different way that they write it every time.
Yeah, well, when we do, like, like very often we'll do a recording session and there'll be a song, or there will be songs that we know what we're doing, but then there's also really important musical fragments that we'll record, and then we'll just kind of get put in the incubator and, you know, over time shape themselves, you know, through Thomas's work, and you know, and it's a, you know, it is a fairly collaborative.
Yeah, I love
it's
that.
extremely collaborative, actually.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, and sometimes there can be too many cooks in the kitchen too, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's good that it works because sometimes the magic's there and sometimes not so much, and you know, sometimes different bandmates have songs that they bring to the band, and then everybody kind of forms around that. Sometimes people come up with melody lines first. You know, I like the idea one. It's like you take one main idea and then you branch it off, and you've got all these different ideas about what, like you just said, you do.
I call it a collage very often.
It's a collage.
So it's like there needs to be an initiation. So if somebody asks me who's the main songwriter in the band, I try and, you know, refer to myself as a song initiator more than a songwriter.
I love that.
Because the songs write themselves within this band, within this body of, like, you know, all the influences as I've just described it. But the initiation, the organization, you know, you have a certain idea how it may or may not sound and what your fellow musicians might do with it.
Right.
But, you know, encouraging them to get together in a room and opening the door and laying the foundation and seeing what happens is an initiation more than anything else.
Right.
And if a few chords or like a tempo is already in that initiation, or a vocal phrase or something, you know, that's yet another part of it. But
yeah, super rad. I love that. And what about you? Because you did your own solo stuff too before you met these cats.
Yeah, I like to dig around and look for songs that that are old and maybe are hiding, and so
and like recreate them.
Yeah, so I like
Or
to find
sample 'em,
traditional
maybe.
songs that I could kind of like rework into my own way.
Yeah.
And then I'll write down like lyric ideas and capture little melody ideas too that sometimes
Are you holding your phone with your voice
I
memo?
am. That's totally what's happening.
Me too. I do the same thing. In fact, we had my friend Jackson Swain was in here, and we talked about how we write all of our song ideas down in our notes, and I made him pull in his notes, and I said, give me like 3 off of there. And he was like, I don't even know what this one's all about, you know. Because
Totally.
we now have our phones, which I do the same thing, and if something pops in my head, I'll grab that voice memo and talk into it and or sing into it and be like, this is the idea, I want this, or I've got this idea for a hook or whatever it is. And then I go back and listen, and sometimes it's fantastic and sometimes it's like, what was that?
Yeah,
you know, so
totally.
it's always fun.
The first time that Tommy and I started making music, like we were across the ocean from each other, and I, well, he was working out of a studio, but I was working off of my phone.
Yeah, your vocal,
And,
your
and so
voice
he was
recorder.
like emailing me like ideas, and then I would like record something on my phone and email that back to him.
Yeah.
And then he'd put it together.
Yeah. You know, I've
Yeah.
done entire records with people and never even been in the same state with them. That exact way.
Yeah.
Exact way. Because nowadays, because of technology, you know, I would be out in LA and I'd be working on a record, and then the singer would be like in Arkansas. And then I basically taught her how to set up a recording studio and showed her how to kind of work the basis of it. To be like, hey, if you have an idea, you just turn this on and hit record, and then you can record your piano or your vocal, you know, and then send it back to me. And so we did pretty much an entire record when we were only in the same space, maybe for a week at a time, you know, once.
Yeah.
So yeah, in like 3 different states. So it's so easy nowadays. Especially, I forget what those video apps are now. You've got the video apps where it's like you're in your studio space and I'm in my studio space, and we can see each other.
Like
And we can
Skype
hear-
or
It's kind of
FaceTime.
like
Yeah.
Skype for musicians,
Oh,
basically.
yeah.
Do you know what's this TikTok? Are you
The
familiar
kids
with-
love that TikTok stuff. I don't know. I think you can like sing to each other or something like that.
It's like nothing.
There's also
saved,
that
supposedly.
Smule. Is it Smule? Smule. It's very similar to TikTok, but I think it's like we get on there and we can sing a duet together, kind of thing, side by side. I think. I know. If well, kids are in school right now. I was like, they're not listening, so I was like,
Yeah.
but if any kids know, call in and let us know, or social media.
Where are the kids?
Yeah, give us another track. I'm excited. Do you got something else for us?
Do deep south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking down the street in my Crocs, wondering what am I not, wondering if it's time, wondering where have I been, where am I, fine, flying high, reach the sky. Why does every party band know she's a brick house? Is it 'cause she's keeping it tight in the deep south? Why does every party band know she's a brick house? Is it 'cause she's keeping it tight? Keeping it tight. Later, 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 later. I'm walking into my gators, 'cause I ain't got no Crocs. I'm walking in my gators, feeling around, looking for you, but you went downtown. So I went too, but then I got beat down. But now it's round two. Why does every party band know she's a brick house? Is it 'cause she's keeping it tight in the deep south? Why does every party band know she's a brick house? Is it 'cause she's keeping it tight? Keeping it tight. Keeping it tight. Keeping it tight.
Chicken bone. Chicken bone.
Keeping it tight. Chicken bone.
Chicken bone. Oh, chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone. Chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone. Say it louder.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone. Chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone. Chicken bone.
Out on Broadway.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Bone.
Chicken bone.
Bone.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Awaken the unforeseen something. Don't mind that feeling, people. Doing something else is no good when you get back. You're looking at yourself and what you did to your health. Who's making grounds for romantic
make sounds. Nobody gets up to get down anymore. They get up to get outside. Do you understand? The jungle is a man. The jungle is a man. The jungle is a man. Why does every party band know she's a brick house? Is it 'cause she's keeping it tight in the deep south? Why does every party band know she's a brick house? Is it 'cause she's keeping it tight?
I love that. I also love how you're running out in the foyer or whatever that's called. Yeah, that's out where that old ticket booth was. By the way, I don't know if you all know. He knows, but the I love that song. By the way, that was great, especially the chicken wing part. And keeping it tight in the deep south. I'll have to tell you a little bit about that last night because I was introduced to a song that I'd never heard of from the 20s that like blew my mind. But anyway, this theater, you're in an old dilapidated theater. There's one upstairs. It's very creepy. But people like Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, Allman Brothers, B.B. King, everybody who's anybody pretty much played here back in the 60s. It's now run down, and they're looking for investors to bring it back to fruition. So we just got our first okay to have live shows here, which y'all are pretty much the first, in my opinion. You're the first, definitely on LRS. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, investors, if you're out there listening to us, come on in, have a look. It's amazing.
It is, yeah.
We've been upstairs earlier.
Oh, you did? You already
yeah.
went up there? Yeah, how
Yeah,
creepy
we took
was
a
that?
peek.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I went up there the other day, and I've taken a bunch of people up there, and there was this one light like flashing like crazy and would not stop, and I was like, this place is so creepy. Yeah, but it's a groovy space though, right?
Yeah.
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 I lived here 20 years and I never knew.
I know, it's
theater was
crazy.
here.
It's like a little
No one
hidden,
ever
like,
talked
wow,
about it, yeah.
where did this place come from? That's
Yeah.
exactly what I did when I walked in. I was like, wow, this place is gorgeous. And then you go upstairs and you're like, why did they close this off? Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe in a couple years we'll have a new theater and a new venue.
Sick.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because it's too much history here,
Yeah.
to just throw away. And, Louisville loves to preserve its history. So hopefully we'll find investors and we'll go from there. So, yeah, love that. So where did that song idea come from? Ray?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, of course it's you.
Came from Bushwick, Brooklyn, pretty
Bushwick, Brooklyn, yeah. Yeah, and tell me a little bit about the influence behind that.
Chicken bone.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was touring. It was written over a couple years. I was doing a lot of tours where the bands would be like there'd be a 3-act bill, but it'd be the same 5 musicians each kind
Right.
of playing each other's stuff, and
It's like Parliament Funkadelic.
well, sort of,
Yeah.
yeah, just like an easy way for musicians who are backpacking it
Yeah.
basically to tour. And this was a little step up from that, but I just started thinking about writing songs that didn't need to be learned.
Yeah.
Basically,
that, yeah.
could just start it and be like, it's in A,
Yeah.
and everything's gonna be okay. So
Yeah.
that was
Like one chord songs?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Although now it's got more than one chord.
Yeah.
It's got 2.
It's got
Two.
two.
Well, you know what? That's funny. We need a rim shot on that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what Woody Guthrie says? Woody Guthrie says, if you play more than 2 chords, you're showing off. That's his
Hey,
famous saying.
There
Yeah.
you go. Woody would love this song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I also wrote a song once that literally just threw the word chicken wing up in the middle of the song for no reason. Literally chicken wing. That was it.
awesome.
And then everybody's like, "Where?" I called it the chicken wing mix because everybody's like, "Why'd you throw chicken wing up?" Why not?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I love that little line.
Yeah,
there,
chicken
yeah.
bone.
Chicken
Yeah, that's right.
bone. Yeah. It's so cool. I love songs like that. It's kind of a sing along.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the little technique you're doing on the tambourine, wherever that tambourine is.
Oh yeah, but that's the first time we've played it like that. So it was,
Yeah, I've noticed the jingles were all
Making
like tied down.
yeah,
Yeah. Is it super loud with the jingles?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're more. It's actually the way they're made. It's still pretty tight,
Yeah.
but it's still too much in a situation like this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to play softly.
Yeah. Yeah. Still really cool though.
Thanks.
It's a great sounding tambourine. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it
Yeah.
when we were in Berlin mixing our music. A
Yeah.
drummer friend of ours was like, "You all have to go to this percussion store." And so it was,
And you're like, do I really? Because I'm probably going to buy everything there
Right.
or want to
Yeah,
buy
dang,
everything
sure.
there. I know.
I needed time to negotiate with myself. That's for sure.
Right, same.
Before
I try to
made
stay
a
out of those
purchase.
places because I spend way too much money every time I'm in them. And I'm like, I really don't need more stuff. I just literally downsize my entire life. Yeah. So super rad. Y'all be playing all these tracks tomorrow night or no?
Well, I don't know if we'll play a rag.
Yeah. It will. Yeah.
Although
though,
maybe
yeah,
we should.
I love that.
Yeah, we'll be playing a lot of. We've recently completed a new program of a new album, and so we're focusing on that music, and the one we just played and the first one we played,
Yeah.
right, are from the record, and
Love that. The
should
new
we-
one you're
Yes.
talking about. Yeah. Do we have a title yet for the new one?
Not sure. Maybe.
we have a hashtag and and then the word frog belly.
Okay. Love that. Well, I love that. Where did Frog Belly come from, by the way?
Well, that is actually, it's a short word, but it's a really long story,
That's okay. We got time.
and it does not resolve as well. But
Okay.
yeah. So when Liz and I first met, we were asked to compose a few tunes for a poetry reading that was happening in Berlin. So I had this friend who's running a poetry label out of Hamburg, and there was she put a show together where several people would read their poems, like on the audiobook that she's released. And Liz and I made the music for the audiobook, and then we were invited to perform the music live.
Okay.
And it struck us as a really, really hard task, because it was about poetry, and there were all these writers
Yeah.
sitting down in front of a microphone, and we were supposed to make some background music for their performance or for their poetry reading. So I didn't really know how to do it, and plus it was about the poetry. So there was this whole list of writers, and we hadn't yet formed a project, so we didn't have a project name. And the moment we saw the list of writers, we were so respectful of them, and because they were some of them were really famous,
Yeah.
and from all over the world, and we felt odd being on the same list with our own names, because it was about the poetry, it wasn't about the music. We were just a background
right.
thing, and we just came up with this word, frog belly.
I love that.
And we actually we back then it was Frog Belly and Symphony. So we came up with this random band name in the taxi on the way there, on the way to the venue. Oh, let's call ourselves Frog Belly and Symphony for this one, because it sounds a bit odd and poetic, and but definitely different from all this serious,
Yeah.
serious people who were there reading their poetry. And
And then it
as
just
it
stuck.
happens, the name just stuck with us ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I thought it was going to be from frog gigging or, everybody was like,
You don't know what frog gigging is?
Yeah, do y'all know what that is? They're like, no, what's frog gigging? I'm a country girl. I'm sorry.
You gotta lay it out.
Yeah, I will lay it out because I used to frog gig. They used to make me when I was a kid, and it's tortured me ever since. Frog gigging is when they go catch frog to fry frog legs. Frog legs are very famous here. They're like chicken wings. All right. Yeah. So you go out to the country in the middle of the night around the ponds, and if you shine a flashlight at a frog, they don't see past it. So you gig them. You stab them with a spear, and that's how you catch your frogs. You put them in a bag, and you bring them home, and you cook up the frog legs. That's how you do it. So anyway, yeah, not the most beautiful thing to see, but I mean, that's how they do it in the country. So that's how we get frog legs today. Yeah.
All right.
I don't really eat frog legs because I was tormented as a child because of the frog gigging. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I did like to be out at night around the ponds and looking for frogs. Killing them, not so much my thing. Yeah, but I love a frog. I'm a big fan. So yeah. Ben, we haven't even talked to you. What do you got going on?
What have I got going on?
Yeah, I just love everything you're playing. Tell me a little bit about your guitar.
So this is not my guitar,
Oh,
first of all.
okay. Well, no. I'm playing someone else's guitar.
Yeah, this is Tommy's guitar. So for
It's a beautiful guitar.
It is lovely, actually. I really enjoy playing.
You sound fantastic on it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So
And it has butterflies on it, on the pick guard.
yeah.
Hummingbirds and there's a hummingbird.
actually
There's a
butterfly.
butterfly at the
Oh,
top.
is it a butterfly?
yeah,
It's a butterfly.
It's actually a hummingbird copy. You know, there's a famous guitar that looks like a model, a Gibson model called Gibson Hummingbird.
Yes, a Gibson Hummingbird.
Yeah, that's sort of a copy of it. And yeah, it's been with me. It's my first ever instrument.
Really?
Yeah.
This guitar
Yeah,
particularly?
yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's a gorgeous guitar.
Yeah.
How long have you had that thing?
Well, I bought it when I was 17 in the guitar shop on the way to school.
I love that.
Yeah, there was like just this guitar was in the shop window, and I was like, I found it so gorgeous because it was red and
Yeah.
it had all these like things
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
I was like, wow. And I bought it, and it turns out to be such a great instrument. I bought it for really cheap as well, and it turns out, yeah, it lasted over the years, and it only got better.
Yeah. So you were on your way to school and you saw this guitar and then you went in and bought it?
Yeah, from my savings. It was a really cheap one. I think it was about 100 Deutschmarks or something when I first bought it. And it's a proper instrument. It's like, I had no idea back then. I just bought it because it looked great.
Yeah.
You know?
I did the same with my first drum set. Like, I don't think back then they didn't have the internet, so I'm not for sure that they knew exactly what they had on them. But I bought it from, my dad got it from a pawn shop, and it turned out to be a Black Panther Ludwig leather wrap kit, which is a pretty famous kit. Yeah. In fact, I don't know, Ray, if you know anything about this, but they say on those kits, if you pull back the wrap on them, and they have the eagles underneath on the shell, they're worth like a ton of money.
Really?
Yeah, because supposedly they put eagle stamps on the wood underneath some of those Black Panther wraps, and they only made so many of them.
Wow.
But mine's in like mint condition, so of course I don't want to hurt the wrap.
Yeah.
But everybody's always like, "Do you have the eagles?" I'm like, "I don't know, do I?" And some guy from Ludwig told me that though. He said they're very famous for these eagle stamps being underneath the wrap.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it's only specifically Black Panther series, which is a black leather patent wrap that goes around the drum. Yeah. So I've got those. I'm not going to look, though, just yet and see if there's anything underneath. But, yeah, evidently those go for a lot of money. And I think my parents, my dad may have bought them for like $300 at a pawn shop somewhere. But they're worth a lot more.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think back then that the pawn shop knew what they had on their hands, and they were just, doing whatever. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit because, I was like, he's the lone quiet one in the background that's always just talking. So how long have you been in this group?
For the duration, like for 8 years.
That's a long time.
It is long, yeah.
Yeah.
But so, but yeah, the reason I'm playing Tommy's guitar is obviously we're a bit limited flying over here what we can bring.
Understood, yeah.
So I brought my electric guitar, which, again, we love playing like this, but I'd say it's a representation of one facet of our music. We also play with a kit and we play with amps.
Right.
And,
yeah.
So I've got my Strat, my Fender Strat I brought over.
Do you all freak out sometimes when you have to fly with your guitars? Do you fly with them often?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, I mean, there's always the potential. I've heard some disaster stories of friends who have lost their instruments over the years just because of, like, damage or whatever. So I've always been, like, terrified to fly with anything super important.
It's always felt
because
like,
of that.
a bit of a gamble.
It is.
Like, can you bring it on as carry-on?
Right.
Do you have to put it in the hold? Can you put it in other... is it going to get thrown around?
Can you take it on as a carry-on?
It depends. Like, it depends who you fly with.
Okay.
And a bunch of things. But for me, anyway, there's always an element of uncertainty about until I'm actually on the plane with it. Am I going to be able to keep hold of it? So it's a scary thing.
It is a scary thing, especially because you're, my drums are my life. Your guitar is probably your life. It's like you had your child in your hands, and you don't know if you have to put them underneath the thing or if it's going to get broken. Yeah, it always makes me nervous to fly with anything super important, especially musical instruments. But I always do see the guys the girls carrying their guitars on their backpack, usually through the airport.
Yeah.
So I'm always curious about that because especially flying from overseas, I would think that'd be a little nerve-wracking sometimes. Yeah.
Usually the bigger the plane, the more likely you can take your instrument on board.
Okay.
To the hold.
Yeah.
Because if it's like just a small sort of like city hopper or something, the overhead compartments aren't big enough.
Yeah.
But with the transatlantic flights, it's usually okay.
Yeah.
However, we had one frog-bellied travel casualty. Remember my sparkly Gretsch that I brought to the very first session? Yeah, the headstock snapped off on the way back from Brooklyn to
From that trip.
to Manchester.
I never knew
Yeah.
that.
I actually had to sell it because it was impaired. It didn't sound as good.
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
I got it fixed.
I mean,
so it
I was going to say,
playable,
can you even fix a headstock
Yeah,
on a
you
guitar
can-
once it busts?
Yeah, like Gretsch and Gibson guitars have this sort of thing. The headstock just snaps off very easily. It's just the way they're made, and you can glue them back on, and they're, sometimes they're just as good. But with that guitar, I could feel it wasn't what it used to be. So I sold it for cheap. So that was that. But it's on the first record. It's on the first EP.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, I want to remind everybody that this is Frog Belly, and they're going to be playing tomorrow night at Odeon, which I love. It's a very romantic venue down on Story Ave, and 8 o'clock. You're also with Rhodey. What was
Yeah.
the other one? Sand Dunes?
Giant Dunes.
Giant Dunes.
Yeah,
I
Joe
love that
Manning.
name.
I
Joe
think it's a
Manning.
band with Joe Manning and Brian Schreck, who we mentioned earlier,
Right.
does the recording Heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So I was telling Ray, just so because I think we're talking about that off record, that a student of mine gave me a CD. He's a huge Deadhead. In fact, he was at the Bellarmine show that the Grateful Dead
Oh,
played at in
wow.
1968. So he tells me all about it, and he gave me a special recording of that show that he got his hands on somehow. He used to write for the Leo. His name is Martin Kazdan, and he wrote
Oh,
the
yeah.
jazz pieces
I
for
know
the Leo.
Martin.
Okay, so Martin is a drum student of mine.
Wow.
Yeah. He had some things go wrong, and he was like, his bucket list thing was to take drum lessons. So he had this beautiful blue sparkle, like 50s drum set in his basement. So I went over and like kind of got it all together, and we've been doing drum lessons. But anyway,
That's so
he
cool.
teaches me more than I teach him because his knowledge of jazz music is insanity, right? I mean, he can tell you everything about the artist and
Yeah.
who was drumming for him and who was doing this and just follow the line. Anyway, he's a huge Grateful Dead fan, which is Mickey Hart and Phil Krutzman on drums.
Yeah.
And Mickey Hart, obviously, is a huge, I love anything Mickey Hart because he's so out there with his, he'll like, I don't know, he'll import brain waves and like play stuff over top.
Yeah.
He's just really out there. He got his hands on a recording of his son's heartbeat before he was born and did a whole record where he plays drums with his unborn son's heartbeat.
Wow.
Yeah, and his son is named Teo Hart. So it's Mickey and Teo Hart, and it's like heartbeats of the rhythm or rhythms of the heartbeats or something like that. And it's literally like an 80-minute track of nothing but heartbeat stuff. So we were talking about that, and that kind of led to...
Yeah, that led us to Brian
Yeah.
Schreck, who is from Louisville and is working, I think, in Norton Healthcare. I think that's right. But,
Yeah, and
he's
tell him what he does.
Well, he's a music therapist, and years ago he started working with patients who were
Palliative care, right? Or
palliative care. Thank you, and would record their heartbeats and make music
That's amazing.
from it, and it would be something that the families would have in a lot of cases after the
death.
person had passed.
Yeah, what a great idea.
Yeah, so he's been doing that kind of work nonstop. In fact, there's a song he got. He was good friends with Jim James, and Jim gave him a rhythm track from the My Morning Jacket song "Victory Dance." And Brian put a recording together with a lot of his patients, and also J.D. Green and Will Oldham and Jim.
Yeah.
Like they all came, and it's a pretty amazing like Louisville music thing that he
that's so
did
cool.
in corporation with this
Yeah.
recording.
I need
that
to get
he made.
my hands on that, as well as
Yeah.
contact all of those cats and get them up in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Because it'd be super cool to hear.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Jim James in My Morning Jacket. Jim James and Teddy Abrams
Yeah,
from the
on
Louisville.
Fallon.
Yeah, they were on Jimmy Fallon last night. Did you see that? at
No, I
all?
did- I
didn't
knew it
get to
was
catch
happening.
I don't even own a TV, so
Yeah.
I couldn't. But I'm sure we'll see highlights today. But I saw a lot of my feed coming across where everybody was very proud of them. Yeah,
No doubt.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the record yet. I'm really excited.
Me either.
Jim made a record with the Louisville Orchestra.
It's come
Yes.
out already?
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, and Teddy Abrams, I've been in contact with his people. I'm trying to get him
Oh,
on the
yeah.
show. Yeah, because he's amazing and he's so young.
Stunning, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see somebody that talented, that young. You know.
Yeah,
just-
he's been like a lightning bolt. I feel like for the
He
city. I mean,
has.
certainly
I
for the
know.
orchestra.
I agree. Yeah, it's super cool, and I love an orchestra. Obviously, anybody who can conduct an orchestra, pretty awesome. Especially, I don't know how old he is, but I know he's younger than me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's young to be conducting an orchestra. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're so thankful to have him because he's so cool, and I love that him and Jim James did a record together. I love that they were on Fallon last
Yeah.
night. I mean, so cool, so representative of Louisville, Kentucky, and our music scene here. Yeah, and I love the collab.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought Jim
amazing.
James would collab with an orchestra? You know, especially the
Oh,
local one.
I could have totally
Oh, yeah.
imagined that.
Well,
You know,
I would have
Jim.
never caught it right. I don't know him personally, so
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. But no, I'm a big fan of his work and My Morning Jacket and the whole
Yeah.
line. Yeah, that's obviously some of the coolest stuff coming out of Louisville, Kentucky at the moment. Yeah, he's made a great name for himself. Yeah, and every time I see him, I'm blown away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, shout out to them. Anyway, love that story. Would love to get that guy up in here. That's super
Yeah.
cool, and he's going to be on the bill tomorrow night
Yep.
with you all at Odeon, and that's
Odeon.
at 8 p.m. tomorrow night.
Yep.
Cool. What else you got for me? You want to keep playing?
Moondog.
Moondog or Hachimitsu.
Yeah, we can
Oh, yeah.
play. We can play. You know, another tune from the next record.
Yeah, and then after that, we'll talk about the next record because I know you've got that in the works. So,
Should we do it?
Moondog.
Moondog.
Moondog?
Moondog.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
I like the name already. You're listening to Frog Belly, and we are on LRS102.com, Louisville's Rock Stream.
The madman poises on the waving wire. There's a scandal as the wind blows. A waft of smoke rolls out the chimney of fire, and the mirrors in the window. Oh, 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 oh. Daylight flickering will kill 100 men in the horrors of the morrow. Bravado, jumbotron, and shadow hologram shows the portrait of your gallows. Oh, 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 Tested property of man. Connect the dots before the dark goes. Happiness trapped like confetti in a can, like the moondog of your sorrows. Oh, oh,
wish upon a star. Get up with the sparrow. Fleetingly sojournous planet Earth. Fleetingly sojournous planet Earth. Planet Earth. Planet.
Gorgeous. That was Frog Belly with Moon Dance.
Moondog.
Moondog. Sorry about that. Moondog on LRS.com. 102.com. That was
beautiful.
Was that an original?
Yeah.
Very nice. I love the bell ringing. Yeah. It was
There's normally this
perfect.
keyboard that comes in there, and
Yeah.
it was the bell.
I had to think of Woody Guthrie's like one chord rule
Yeah.
of this song now.
No kidding. Oh, yeah. How many chords was that one?
So what comes after show off? Like what is it going to go back to positive after?
No, I think he said anything higher than that is jazz. Basically, he was like or improv jazz. There's a whole
Alright.
quote behind that, but look it up. Yeah, it's
Okay,
Woody
will
Guthrie.
do.
I think it's Woody. It's either Woody or
Woody would've liked
Arlo.
that song,
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, I guarantee he would have. Yeah, I mean, what a great track. You know, a lot of songs. I feel like, and I talk about this often on the show. You know, when you have super trained musicians, it's hard for them to write something very simplistically. I feel like because their brain is so complex with music that it's hard for someone
That's a great
who.
point.
It is, and I've always wondered because I've always kind of been in the middle, you know, of that where I've worked with a lot of people who are like super trained in orchestras and theater shows and musicals who can read great and all this stuff, but it seems to be that the ones that aren't that trained are the better songwriters. Now, I'm not saying they're better, but I'm just saying from my personal experience, there seems to be some kind of weird crossover there, and I feel like I've been searching for the answer of what is the reason behind that, and the only thing that I can come up with is that the super trained ones, their brains are so complex that it's very hard for them just to sit down and write a 2-chord song. Does that make sense? Musically,
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Does
I feel like that whatever you come from in your own experiences and upbringing, you're making music, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and even I think really all great trained players have
Yeah.
a respect. It's all about a respect for melody, I think,
Of
or
course.
feeling.
Yes,
you know, like
feeling for sure.
It's, and that's I think kind of across. It breaks across all the different categories of musicians, but yeah, it's probably I could see how someone who is very like in touch with a lot of their education or
complexities,
training.
yeah.
It might be hard just to like quiet things and just let
Yeah.
music kind of come out of it. But
Yeah. And again, I'm only speaking from my personal experience of working with people, but I've worked with people who were amazing songwriters that were never ever trained on an instrument. It could play
Oh, sure.
multitude of instruments beautifully and write these amazing lyrics. And then, you know, over here I'd be working in orchestras, and these cats would be like trying to write original music during the nighttime outside of the orchestra stuff, and they would just struggle, and I'd be like, what is so, you know what I mean? Because they have everything that they need. You know, playing
Right.
wise and theory wise and all this stuff. It just seemed bizarre to me, but it seems like there's some kind of weird line there that's hard to cross over between the players that are super complex and theory based and the ones that just play because they love it.
It's
know?
interesting.
Yeah, it's a very. I would love to see a study on it. You know. Yeah. So let's talk about this new record that you've got coming out. You don't have a name just yet. Where are you in the recording process of it?
It's complete.
Oh, it is
In
complete.
fact, we're expecting some time today to get the master of the record.
Cool.
Yeah, to
That's
listen.
always fun.
Yeah. Do you know Greg Calby, the mastering engineer? He's on the back of shit ton of records.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dang it! Yeah.
Oh, where is it?
He's
Perfect.
yeah, and so he's doing the final steps.
So where did you record it? Did you record that here in Louisville or in New York? Or?
Brooklyn and Sheffield, and
Yeah, mostly
A little bit everywhere.
mostly in Brooklyn and Sheffield. So we still used Martin Beese's studio, like
Okay.
that we spoke about earlier, for about half of the recordings. But this time around, Martin didn't end up producing the record, so we went into his studio to track
Okay.
the rhythm section, and then took the recordings to England, and and we all met in my studio in Sheffield, because it was, my studio got better over the years,
Yeah,
and our
of
budget
course.
got smaller, so
Yeah.
that
Understood.
coincided to be very handy. So
Yeah.
so before and after our tour in the UK, we always added a few days of studio time for ourselves, and so it's been a sort of almost like a band produced sort of project, whereas like I did a lot of the engineering and I did
Yeah.
a lot of the recording and overdubs myself. But then also there were several amazing helpers and people involved, and probably the most important guy to mention in this context is Peter Schmidt. Peter Schmidt is like an iconic sort of mixing engineer from Berlin, and this is where we actually completed the record. So we took all those recordings. Eventually, we took them to Berlin to do a very, very old school sort of analog mix of it that was executed by Peter Schmidt, who is an absolute master of his trade.
Wow, love that.
So that was a great experience for us, and we hadn't really worked on that level ever before. So it was a great blessing. And
So you all were not all in the same room at the same time when you were recording this record?
we were most of the time.
Okay, most of the
yeah,
time.
Yeah, we got together. It just took a while because we
Yeah.
did a session here, session there, and then
Yeah.
the record didn't come together in like one chunk.
yeah, it
Of
was
course
like
not, you're right.
4 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
Would you say?
The recording phase took about 3 years, I guess, and then another year and a half for getting all the sort of
People don't understand what goes into all this music. We buy like iTunes, 99-cent song or $1.29 song, and it's like there's years and years of effort and mixing and all this process behind it that I feel like people don't understand today unless you are a musician who's been through that process or seen that process happen, or in the recording industry somehow. But I mean, even a mixer like you're talking about, this guy Peter, I mean, he could spend days upon mixing, you know what I mean? One track.
Right.
Yeah. And I always love it when you get the master, because again, you've got, the mixing phase, it sounds different, and then you get the master, it could sound different. Parts are exposed more, parts are not exposed more. It changes as you go. I feel like every song is like a child that you're birthing. And then, you have no idea how it's going to grow up when it actually comes out,
Yeah.
So it's always cool I love the recording process. I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fine art.
Yeah, well, and we've been a band that we've back when we put out Blue Bright Owl Sleep. There was a Kickstarter campaign that we did, but like we're at this point it's all been, no one's helping us.
Right.
I mean, we have people like Peter.
Right.
Who have come and believed in what we're doing that are helping us, but the process is very much like DIY.
Yeah.
And getting everybody over here to the States, we actually had to. It was quite a bit of project, because for us to play a show and be on Facebook, we have to officially we have to have work visas.
Right.
And it's a process that's. It's easier for me to go over to England.
Right.
So
it's like us when we go to Canada. You have to kind of have the same thing, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, and you can only take so much money in there. Like, watch it,
Right.
I would assume, I've never, had to deal with people coming over from the pond, but I would assume it's kind of similar situation.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit harder actually. I
Is
guess.
that? I
Yeah,
bet.
it's quite expensive. So you can always come as a tourist.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to play music.
Yeah.
It's considered work, even though it's not paid.
Right.
Like they consider it.
Do they
to be-
watch your finances with that too? Like
well,
when you
they-
are making money in the States?
When you are once you have a visa, you have to give them some sort of like account or something or a company that takes care of it. So the first time around we did it about 5 years ago, we formed our own American LLC just to show our tax report.
Okay.
But then we dissolved that, and this time around we luckily had the Irish Arts Center, which is an institution from New York City, helping us out. So we're now officially sort of on their petition.
Okay. Cool.
And in order to get all of that together, there are a lot of it's a lot of sort of rigmarole and communications. and ultimately it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's such a privilege. Like we've worked hard and long in order to make this tour happen. And
Yeah, years it sounds like. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Are y'all excited about the new record? Because I mean, if it's 5 years in the making, aren't you like, oh my gosh, it's finally here? Yeah, I love that. I always love it when a plan comes together, a project comes together.
Yeah.
I've never been pregnant, but I just can imagine. I can imagine my friends who are like 9 months. Like,
I know you're like,
or like
"Oh,
8.5, and they're like, "Come on,
yeah,
come on."
I know,
baby.
same. I've never been pregnant, never wanted to be, but I was like, yeah, that would be the only thing I can compare it to is birthing a record, because it is a baby. It's a baby that every single one of them are, and you don't know what's going to happen once you put it out, and you just never know, right? Yeah. How many tracks on the record?
11?
11, yeah.
11. Okay, sweet. And we don't have an official title, you said yet.
Well,
Just something on a hashtag.
Yeah, well, the hashtag thing is like almost. So the process behind this hashtag thing is like us and the social media. We have this like really. We're almost in the process of developing our relationship with the socials and the extended outside digital world.
Right.
And
a hashtag is basically like you're branding your project. So.
Yeah, and this sort of hashtag Frogbelly thing just rolls off the tongue, and we just started doing it along with the advertisement for this tour.
Yeah,
and that's why this hashtag Frogbelly has become the theme. And like I said earlier,
I just hashtagged Frogbelly, by the way, just for y'all.
Very good.
And I did, and somebody else said, I'm sure there must be a great story behind their band name. And I said, we just talked about it on there. It was birthed in the back of a taxi in Germany, right?
Exactly.
On the way yeah. Wait, let's see what they said. How fitting that it's not me asking them. Sorry, I haven't been listening. I'm at work, and since I'm commuting back and forth, my data plan is basically on 0 bandwidth for the month. But thanks for the info.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, you just never know about social media, man. I tell you what, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? How it all works. I wish you all much success with the record. I'm super pumped to hear it.
Thanks,
I'm like,
Jyn,
I want a copy when it comes out so I can spin it on LRS.
Absolutely.
We'll
Yeah,
send you a copy.
especially since y'all are my first in-studio guest ever to play music. And you not only played me one song, you've played like 10 already. So, yeah, I love it. You come to play, and I want everybody to autograph the little thing over there. All the musicians autograph the table. And we keep those, and we're going to frame them. We're going to collage them and frame them for a big LRS thing in the studio. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, welcome to America, and welcome over here to Louisville, Kentucky to play music. Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And good, I know it's a process to get the visas and all that stuff, but geez, finally you made it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're excited to have you
Yeah.
over here. So when it came to the new record, you've got this amazing mixer guy, right? Who came up with did y'all write throughout the 5 years together off and on when you met up? Or like, how did the songs come to be, the ones that are on the new record?
Anytime we would get together, there would be periods of time where we'd get together to play.
Yeah.
And we just multitasked. Like there was usually a show, a recording session, something, and
Cool.
music would have moved up to a certain point where
Yeah.
we would, revisit and and then because Ben lives in Bristol, which is a few hours from Sheffield, they would,
Okay.
so it was over distance, but
Yeah.
mostly, like Thomas said, actually in the same room, which is remarkable.
Yeah, that is remarkable. Yeah.
There's-
Especially the way people are doing it now. Go ahead.
There's even one song that we tracked in the previous during the process of making the previous album, and it kind of just wasn't ready, so we just kept reworking it, and that song's probably like how old is that song?
That song is 8
years ago.
I wrote the song. I remember exactly where I wrote it.
Yeah.
I wrote it in Manchester in England, waiting for Kate and Jeff. Oh God!
Oh, I'm
this is
thinking
the
that's
best.
2 songs.
This is the best story
actually.
ever.
All right, bring
I was
it.
thinking
Believe
As
it.
You
I
Please.
want to hear it.
Oh, I'm thinking Hatchemitzer. So, I visited Manchester back in 2009 to see a Bonnie Prince Billy show at Manchester Cathedral.
Oh, our Louisville dude.
And whilst waiting for my friends to pick me up to take me to the venue, I wrote Hatchemitzer. So there's an indirect connection
Yeah.
to an artist from this city that are very, very, very
I
much
love
like.
that.
Yeah,
It's Bonnie Prince Billy. Will
yeah, so we
Oldham,
were
right?
waiting for his show, and I was sat outside on this like sort of big, the Manchester University and the town centre are like really sort of one big plaza or one big piazza in a way, and I was sat on there putting the chords for Hachimitsu together. Yeah.
I love that, and that's going to be a new song on your records.
Yeah.
I love it. Directly in contact with two Louisvillians. If you include Ray, it's super rad. I love that. Can I ask you two questions because I'm curious about the relationship, and is it hard being together and playing music together?
Oh, it's a piece of piss.
Where's the bell? I love that. It's a piece of piss. I'm gonna use that. Yeah. No, I'm just curious because I've had my own relationships with people I've been in bands with, and it's always been disaster. So I was just curious. I always kind of swore off playing with anybody that I would date. You know what I mean? Which who knows in the future? I wouldn't mind to play with somebody that I had that connection with, but at the same time, business-wise, it turned out ugly in the past. So it kind of like, gave me a little bit of a brick wall to be like, maybe I shouldn't do that ever again. So I'm always curious because a lot of people make it work really well, right? Are there any challenges that you all face, like working together?
There are definitely challenges, but there are rewards as well.
I bet.
There's a whole world around that question.
I know. Yeah, and I'm not trying to like throw you under the bus or anything. I'm just curious because of my own personal past with it. When you all met, first off, were you playing music together or did you meet completely separate?
All right. I was on tour with a band from New York called Emmanuel and the Fear that I used to play with.
Okay.
And we had a German record label, so we were doing a lot of touring in Germany. And a booking agent put a band that Tommy was playing with at the time on the same bill as the band I was playing with. And so we met in the green room.
Ooh, you met in the green room? I love
did.
that. All
We
right. Bound chicka bound wow. No.
Yep.
You said yep. Yay for green rooms. Yeah. Wait, I want to ring the bell just because on that. Yeah. No, that's super cool though. And then you went on to did you immediately fall in love, or were you like, oh, I'm really attracted to this dude? You met him in a green room. Usually it's like you keep it pretty pro in a green room. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely I think
It was a slow cooker a little bit because
kind of, but also I don't know.
Because we started visiting each other after a while. Mm-hmm. So it was like
well, you came and met us on tour again in Belgium.
Accidentally, yeah.
It's so romantic. He's like flying to Belgium.
And then he sold his car and bought a plane ticket and came to New York.
Did you really? Now that is straight up badass. Dude, you know a dude likes you when he sells this car to buy a plane ticket to come see you in New York City. Did you have to get the work visa then too? That's hilarious. No, that's super cool. So y'all were immediately attracted to each other, so you stayed in contact, obviously.
Yeah.
And both single at the time, and were like, hey, I'm kind of interested. Yeah, so were you attracted to her because she did play music?
I wouldn't say that. No, that. Yeah. No. Well, of course, it came with the package straight away. Being in the green room, of course, and watching her on stage, I was well impressed.
Yeah. Well, I just prefer to meet when I was single. I'm not single right now. I just got in a new relationship, y'all. And y'all love this. She came in on my show the other day and asked me on air. Blew my mind, and I was like, to be her partner, and I was like, holy crap. It was romantic. It was very romantic. And she's probably listening right now, so if you are, hi.
Hello.
Yeah. So anyway, it was kind of romantic. But anyway, I prefer when I was single, because I was single for like 3 years time period, just trying to find myself. I was on my soul journey, trying to not settle for anything. And I found that I did not like it when people already knew what I did for a living, because I had a lot of people coming at me just for that reason. You know what I mean? So I kind of loved it when they had no idea that I played music, no idea that I had a radio show. You know, they just were in it for me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like when we're performers, you get people, and most of y'all are probably taken, so I don't know if you get this or not, but, you know, when you're on stage, people get super attracted to you. And I feel like I can already see it from a mile away. They have this one gleam look in their eye. There's a look that they'll give you when they're like, ooh, I'm attracted to that because you're a musician. You know what I mean? And I prefer for someone not to come at me for being a musician, you know.
Yeah.
Other people, maybe not so much, but that's just my perspective. So when I met her, she had no idea what I did. You know, she didn't know anything about me. She saw me playing a djembe in the corner of the room for an art show. That's how we met. And she was working the fairness campaign, and she offered me a cider. And I was like, maybe. I was like, this girl's kind of cute, you know.
Yeah.
And then we were playing one of her favorite songs, which was called "Dancing on Our Own." I think Robin covered it at some point. And then she disappeared, and I was like, darn it, I didn't get her name or number, nothing, right? And then that night, she had found me on social media, and I was like, oh, there's that girl. Thank goodness. Yay. I was excited. So we kind of like off and on followed each other. And then at the, you know, after a few months, started kind of seeing each other. And then she came in and sat on the show and asked me out. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Beautiful
anyway,
story.
I love that you two are together. It is a beautiful story, right? It's a beautiful way to start a story. So stay tuned. Weddings might be coming. We never know.
Well, if you need a band for a wedding,
All right, dude. Yeah,
we've
no
done
kidding.
it before.
I was like, if I have a wedding, because I always said I never would, and I've never been married, no kids at 41. So I was like, if I do it, I'm gonna blow it out. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have like the biggest party in Louisville
Oh, yeah.
with every musician in town. Yeah, I would like the whole nine. Yes, so you're all invited if it happens. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That means a lot.
Yeah, so we've got about a few more minutes. Do y'all want to finish it out with a groovy song? I want to remind everybody while y'all are thinking of what you're doing that tomorrow night at the Odeon, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., #FrogBelly. They got a new record coming out, and they can also go online and get your other stuff, right? Your other previous records. What's that website again?
well, frogbellyandsymphony.com, and we're
Frog.
also on Bandcamp.
Yeah, Bandcamp. I love
Yeah.
Bandcamp. It's a groovy site. Yeah. Frogbellyandsymphony.com. You can check out their Blue Bright Owl Sleep record, which I have in my hand. So we will be spinning that on LRS 102 now. All right, what are you leaving us with?
Hachimitsu.
All right, let's
which is
do it.
Japanese for honey.
Oh, I
and
love that.
That's the very song that happened to like fly through the air in Manchester in 2008. Oh no, 2009 or 2010. I'm not quite sure yet.
Cool.
Waiting for Bonnie Prince Billy.
Yay! All
This is
right.
dedicated to the Bonnie Prince.
Sitting on the stairs of that square with no name, looking through a giant wheel and through its triangle, I remain silent, 'cause memories won't reveal that your heart was wide open. Between tiredness, a shiver, and a song, we're standing alone. We're pushing along. Have no fear, you big bear in your fur. Come on closer. And while I'm hiding here, you're returning to work. And with the glimmer of hope with the dirty pigeons flushed by the people, and your smiles revolving. Why don't we speak about it and show them all? Have we ever held our hands and confessed, I believe in your love? Let's talk about it and show them all. For all the love we wish to give and admit, I believe in your love. 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 Let's talk about it and show them all. Have we ever held our hands and expressed, I believe in your love? I believe in your love. I believe in your love.
That's Frog Belly on LRS102.com. I love that song. You sang a love song right after I told you my story and y'all's story. I love that. Look, y'all are like, we did that on purpose. Dude, thank you all for coming in on the
Jyn,
show today.
thank you.
Ray,
This is amazing.
anytime you got a project, you know you're a cinch in at LRS on my show, man. Check them out tomorrow night at the Odeon, which is very romantic. It's in itself. Have y'all played there before? No, I know. No, you haven't?
First
No, I
time.
haven't been.
By the way, you're going to love it. It's very 70s and it's very like shag carpet and really cool like like leather loungers. It's very like if you have a date, that's the spot, you know what I mean? It's very dark and eclectic and cool and groovy. I go there for their kombucha. Is it kombucha?
Oh.
They have the best purple lavender kombucha. Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
really good.
excited.
Yeah, pick that up. It's really good. Yeah. Anyway, and that Story Avenue little space is kind of up and coming. I don't know if you know Denny. Denny just bought the old Dewdrop Inn, and
Yes,
it's about to be
yeah.
High Horse across the street from Play.
Wow.
So that little Butcher Town, that whole little area right there is fantastic. Yeah.
I asked
So,
Denny to come out tomorrow.
I wish you all the best of luck on your record. I can't wait to have it. And I love my
Thank you.
records here. We're going to spin these on LRS from now until forever, man. So congratulations on the relationship. The songwriting is fantastic. The singing's fantastic. Love all the everything. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks, Jyn.
All right, y'all have
you
a
for
great one.
having us.
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave you with that. Check them out tomorrow night at the Odeon. That's 8:00, and they've also got one more time Sand Dune.
Giant Dunes.
Why can't I remember that name?
and Roadie.
Giant Dunes and Roadie's gonna be there playing on
Yeah.
the same bill with them. So yeah, check it out. Louisville All Stars, man. All right, I'm Jyn Yates. I'm gonna leave you for the day, and it's tomorrow. You know, check back in tomorrow. We're always got cool stuff going on. And thank you all for being my first in studio guest, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was awesome. I'm happy to say. All right, I'm going to leave you for the day. As always, have a good one and keep it groovy.